Welcome back to the Cozy Cottage Homestead. Today is going to be another study on preparing for uncertain times. There is no way that I can make these videos any shorter. Sorry for the ones that have asked. I feel like those that are interested in being prepared and stuff like that, if it interests you or you're a beginner, then you're probably going to find it interesting and you're going to want to stick around and watch the whole entire video. If not, I understand, and that's fine. I do these studies straight led from God, from my heart, to help those that are interested in how to become more prepared and maybe just simply don't know what to do or where to start. So today was going to be on taking care of our own health, taking care of family, small children, elderlies, and taking care of your pets, and home defense and first aid. I will do a separate video on first aid, on the things that I use and the supplies that I like to have on hand. It's just way too much to put into one video. So first of all, the main thing that definitely is to have a plan. Have a notebook, write down certain things so that everyone knows what's expected of them. Everyone in your circle probably will have different chores, different jobs, different responsibilities. But you need to know that ahead of time. That's going to alleviate stress, take care of the drama, take care of the confusion, so that everyone knows what's expected of them. So write down important instructions for your own personal health, or small children, or elderly people, or elderly family members, parents that would be in your circle. Yes, we all probably think we know everything that we need to know about each individual that might be in our circle. Maybe people we haven't seen in a while, but they're going to be part of your little circle, or maybe your homestead's the one that's the plan for everybody else to go to. Make sure you make a note of special needs, special diets. Allergies is a big one. Make sure you know what each person's allergies are if they have them, and if an allergy comes up, it's important to have already learned and acquired information that's going to help you know how to deal with the allergy reaction and know how to take care of those situations should they arise. For small children, make sure you definitely have a list of any medications that they're taking. Let everyone else know what they're taking, why they're taking. Have it written down on a notebook. Don't just have it in your cell phone. What if the lights do go out? What if there is a blackout? What if the stores do shut down? What if you can't call the doctor? So it's good to have it actually written in a notebook on pen and paper. So that's another good prep to have, is pen and paper, so you can write down things. And in some cases, maybe even have a notebook for each person, so you can know what to do for that person to help that person. So the same thing with elderly people and taking care of older parents, maybe older people just in your circle in general. Write down what they're allergic to. Also write down things that make them happy. Colors that they like, or music that they like, or books, or movies. Some elder people are able to do a lot of things that we're still able to do. But what if an elderly person falls ill and they become to where they can't go outside or they can't get out of the bed? So you need to prepare for those things and think about those things ahead of time. They may need a separate room to stay in. Their noise tolerance may be different, which most older people don't like a lot of noise. So teach the smaller children to respect and understand, why we have to be noisy in certain areas, but we can't make a lot of noise around the older people, because if everybody else stays calm and the older people are more comfortable and happy, trust me, everybody else is going to be happy too. But if they're uncomfortable and miserable and everything is chaotic and there's no order and control, no boundaries, things could just be absolutely crazy. So it's best to try to eliminate any of those kind of things that you can possibly think of ahead of time. And also with the taking care of the older people, you can find them anywhere, the handicap toilets, or you can make a handicap toilet. It's probably going to be much easier if that person doesn't have to try to walk through the house. Maybe it's darker, maybe the lights are out, maybe there's no power, to have them their own space, to have that potty. And then also prepare for the ones that can't get out of bed. What if they're bedridden? What if they can't go to the bathroom? Think about that. You know, don't go crazy with it if they're not having problems with it already, but by all means, if they're already having issues and they need special equipment, adult diapers, wipes, bed pads, stuff like that, go ahead and stock up on those as well. And you may not need them right now, but you may kind of know that they're possibly headed to that route, you know, and be better to go ahead and have a few of those things on hand than to not have anything at all. So just things to think about to help you be a little better prepared. And some would say, you know, like, why make sure other people are happy, make sure they have what they need? Because you want to eliminate stress as much as possible. You know, what is good for one is good for everyone else, unless they're a person that has a special need. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that in mind, that if you have one person in your circle that absolutely cannot have orange juice, then you're not going to want to give that person orange juice because it's going to make them sick. So you need to be mindful of that, and explain that to maybe younger children, that they're only getting special treatment. What seems like special treatment is because they have an allergy or it makes them sick or something like that. So some people would be totally, you know, against that. Well, this is what we have, this is what everybody's drinking, and that's fine, that works. But your life is probably going to be a lot more miserable if you go into it with that mindset. And I'm just telling you from experience, that's just how it's going to be. Now, other things, yeah, certain toys, certain things, no one should have anything special or different, because that will cause a lot of problems, a lot of stress, and the world's probably going to be stressful enough, and even your own world if you're the one going through uncertain times. So you don't want to have to add to that. The next thing was something I think most people don't think about, and only because I've worked with older people and small children, is fire safety. Maybe your family member doesn't need a wheelchair right now. Maybe you think they're 75, 80 years old, they get around just fine, but what if they fall ill and become bedridden? Unless you're physically able and not aging and growing older yourself, and you can just pick somebody up and carry them out on your back, a wheelchair would be a good choice. And also a wheelchair is good for just family injuries. Someone's on the roof, someone fell out of a deer stand, someone tripped and hurt their leg, broke their leg, multiple different reasons to make sure, you know, that you have access to a wheelchair. And again, you can find wheelchairs cheap. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. They have the collapsible ones. You can tuck it away in a corner or in an attic somewhere until you need it. Crutches and canes, also good to have on hand just in case, so you can get them out in the event of a fire, or just simply maneuver them around so they can get out the house or sit by a window or whatever to change the view. With small children and older people, if we don't have internet, we don't have cable TV, it's good to still have like a TV and I want to say VCR, but those are there's a few still around, a DVD player, and have types of movies that the older people would like, because there'd probably be lots and lots of time during the day where they can't do anything but stay in the bed. And sometimes if you can let them watch some old western or something that they're interested in, if it's an older lady, maybe a home and garden type show, try to find positive old movies that are good, that are inspiring, that are uplifting. The same thing with small children. Find stuff that they like to watch. So on those days that it's rainy or it's yucky or it's unsafe to go outside, you can find a way to still entertain them while you're doing other chores, maybe in the kitchen or whatever, to give you a little bit of a break and to get their mind off of things as well. So with small children, like toddlers and infants, this is a big one, and lots of the newer beds don't have them for the infants and toddlers, but make sure you have at least one bed in the children's room, like if they're all together in the same room, that has wheels on it, so that if there's a fire you can lay them all in the bed together crossways, and you can push the entire baby bed out of the house to get them out if there would be a house fire. Of course, larger children, bigger children, older children, make sure they know what the fire escape plan is so that they can get to safety. Because you have to think about, if there are multiple families staying together, living together, each family might have had a different plan before you all came together. And just make sure to go over that plan so that everyone knows what to expect and what to do and how it works. You have to have good communication. Let's see, home safety plan, home protection, that's pretty much a given. There's lots of different things you can do for home safety, home protection. I can't really say a lot about that because, we can't talk about a lot of things on YouTube. But make sure you do have a safety plan in place, and make sure that it is in a safe place, and children know the rules and know to respect things. And that's going to look different for each person. We all have different ways of doing things, so just make sure that your children know the safety plan, and also who's in charge of the home defense. Make sure that there's a plan. You don't want 10 people going to grab going to try to take care of one little problem that one person could take care of, and then 10 people are running in there going crazy trying to get to whatever it is that they're looking for. So make sure that each person in your party, in your circle, knows who's in charge of what, and teach your children to know what to do and what not to do. Children are not supposed to answer the door. I don't care if they're 16 years old, and I will give you that as my personal opinion. They don't need to. That is the adult's job. And if the child is home by themselves and they open the door, then shame on you, because you should have taught your children better. And I'm not saying that to be ugly or to be mean, especially in uncertain times. Children need to know what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. And they have to be taught, and they have to be trained to know what to do. Maybe it was okay 5 years ago. Maybe it was okay 6 months ago. But maybe it's not okay now. And that's something you'll have to work out with your family and your circle. But if you want to keep your family safe, there are some rules and stuff that probably seem like old-fashioned. Well, that's the way it was back in the day. But there were reasons why those things were the way they were. And it was to keep their families safe and keep their children safe. And I think some of those old ways need to be revisited, So we went over that, discussed the plan on how to keep your family safe, and have some guidelines and some ground rules, and taking care of your own health. So this is a problem, most of us have some type of health condition, health problem. Make sure that you have any health conditions that you're aware of. Like if you know you got some teeth bothering you, or your blood pressure's crazy, or whatever it is that you're having a health problem with, now would be the time to get it taken care of. Quit putting it off. Quit having fears of going to the dentist. If you need dental work done, I know men, especially my husband and a lot of others that I know, really have a fear of going to the dentist. But put those fears aside and go get whatever that thing is taken care of while we still have the services available, so that you won't be near as miserable. It won't hinder you and slow you down later on down the road. And plus, just being miserable maybe without not having the services that we need. Now, health problems do come up and issues do happen. That's when it comes in hand to have some good books. Some of the books that I like that I'm going to recommend are, and I'm just going to read them because some of these are still really new. I can't really tell you what they say, but I can share and help advertise them. Of course, I think lots of you probably have heard of this, especially the ones that are prepared, that are homesteaders. It's Where There Is No Dentist, What to Do When There's No Dentist, When There Is No Doctor. Now these are similar titles, but they're both written by someone different. Where There's No Doctor is written by Gerald Doyle, and then Where There's No Dentist is Murray Dixon. So both of these are good books. Hold them there for just a second so you can get a better shot of them. Very good to have on hand. Lots of good information in both. If you are more enthused about taking care of your own self or your family members, and you're comfortable with that, and maybe even if you're not comfortable with it, some of these books are good to have because someone else in your circle may be okay with it. You know, I totally realize there are certain people that just can't see certain things, can't do certain things, but it's good to have on hand. And this is called The Country Doctor Handbook, an old-fashioned cures that prevent and reverse pain, obesity, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and more. Did you hear that? Prevents all of those things. So prevention is the best. Being prepared is the best. Having a plan is the best. Maintenance is extremely important. You can prevent things from getting a whole lot worse. And this book just says, I don't think this one has an author listed. It's just published by the editors of FC&A Medical Publishing. Lots and lots and lots of good stuff. I don't know if you can find this book here particularly in print. I do a lot of thrift and antique shopping and find lots of good books. And again, I don't look at them all the time. I've already read through it, so I know what book to grab if a problem arises. If you're a little more enthused, another good book is The Survival Doctor's Handbook, What to Do When Help Is Not on the Way. This is by James Hubbard, MD, MPH. This one is a newer book. It does have a lot of good beginner information in it. It's on the back, it says stranded when camping, live alone in a rural area, or just want to be prepared for the next natural disaster. So it's good. It gives a lot of good information, lots of good tips. And the other thing is, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, how can I get prescription medications ahead of time? You know, my doctor only gives me so much for so long. Lots of times they'll give you medication. I know we're on a cycle like that where we can get it every 3 months. I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice. All I can tell you is what I personally have done, will do, and continue to do, just to make sure I have a backup for the backup. And that is every now and then not take so many of my prescription medicines. Now I'm only on 2 and I can get off of them at any time because one's for menopause and one's to help me sleep. Menopause eventually, hopefully, it's going to go away. And once menopause gets better, maybe I can start sleeping. But for those that can't get off of their medication, skip every now and then taking your medication to where eventually you have a little bit more stocked up. And get your meds refilled as soon as you can. Maybe you still have some extras and save some back. But don't forget about natural things. If you do run out of prescriptions, don't forget about the natural medicine with herbs, with tinctures. Get you some good home remedy books, some stuff that show you how to do things before we had doctors to go to and prescription medicine to take. Don't think that there's nothing else you can do. You have to keep thinking and planning ahead. And the more prepared you are and the more you have planned and figured this out, it's going to alleviate stress later. Trust me. You don't want to have to be stressed over things that you could have prepared for ahead of time. So yeah, don't forget about natural medicine, herbs, tinctures, home remedies. There's tons of home remedy books out there. And yes, some are just very simple stuff, but some are a little more in depth. Having something is better than having nothing. So, pain relief, since we're talking about taking care of ourselves. This is the Prevention Pain Relief System, a total program for relieving any pain in your body. This is a good book. It definitely helps, can eventually completely alleviate pain. It's helped me a lot. It also can help whenever you're just having something going on. There's different types of sicknesses and illnesses that you can look up if you're having certain types of symptoms. It's another thing. We're all used to grabbing our phone, looking up stuff. It's good to have things in hard copy in a book. Because what if your phone doesn't work? What if you can't charge it? I know I'm preaching to the choir, but and if you do find some good stuff online, save it to your phone. But don't just save it to your phone, just like all those family pictures. Go somewhere or go to your own home computer or your printer, print it out and stick it all in a binder. Print out those pictures of your family and your loved ones so that you actually have a copy of it. That drives me crazy with this new modern, take all these pictures and then nobody never prints them, and then your phone gets broke and you can't get it, you can't save it. So think ahead, do a little extra work, take the time to print out information and family pictures as you get them. So this is a good one. And if you're not really into that kind of thing and you're looking for a more natural approach, pressure points. This is something that's been around, I don't even know how long, but a lot of other countries use it regularly. We still have massage therapy and stuff like that in the United States, and there are some natural healers and doctors that use pressure points and chiropractors, stuff like that. But get you a good book so that you have it on hand, and then you can learn those skills too to help your elderly parents, help yourself. It literally shows you how to do everything. This is a good one. They actually have smaller ones that are little handbooks that are, pocket size or whatever. But this is Pain Relief with Trigger Pressure Points Self-Help. Another good one to have on hand. Maybe you're more into natural medicine and not the remedies. So it's good to know it, and we can look it up all day long right now. But during uncertain times, that may not be available. So get you some good books so you can have it. And you can still look it up and hopefully help yourself or help family members that are having health problems. Let's turn the page and see what else. Pet care. Our pets are just like our family members. And I'm talking about household pets. There are books. Like this is a coconut therapy for pets. Very simple. Most people have coconut oil. Has a ton of different things in here for cats and dogs. It just says pets, but it's for both and some other pets as well. Also a good veterinarian care book. There are multiple different ones, lots of different ones out there. For the farm animals, make sure you have at least a general care book to take care of farm animals. But back to the dogs and cats, which would probably be more like the ones you might want to have inside. This is the doctor's book of home remedies for dogs and cats. Literally everything from the top of their little ears to the tip of their little tails. It has a little bit of everything. Quick, easy to use. It's really helped out a lot through the years. I think you can still buy this book. I don't think it's like that old, but you can still find it. And there are tons of other books like this. So you don't want to leave the pets out. You want to make sure you have things prepared for them too. Because I know people do have pets, and you're still going to have your pets or your animals, so you're going to have to know how to take care of them. Now more advanced. This is way more advanced, and some people aren't comfortable with this. I know I was trying to keep this on just the basic stuff, and I have tons of this kind of stuff, y'all. This is just a little small fraction of the stuff that I have on medical stuff and first aid stuff and books on first response. Not everybody in our circle is going to be able to do everything, and some of us can do certain things and some of us just can't do it. But if you are comfortable with doing more advanced stuff, and plus you just preparing for anything in uncertain times. We don't know what we may be facing. So and again, someone in your circle may know how to do more than you do, so it's still good to have a few of the reference books just in case on hand. This is called Emergency War Surgery. Don't be scared, I know, but it does show you how to literally do any kind of medical procedure, surgery, what have you. For those that are still in childbearing years. Somebody needs to know how to help you, and you need to know how to help yourself as much as you can during childbirth. It has all of that in this book in fine detail. So it's good to have stuff like this on hand. Maybe you weren't planning on having to deliver a baby. Maybe you weren't planning on having to set a bone or stitch up a gash. Whatever it is. But we don't know what we may need to do or what we'll have to do. If you have these books that help you walk through step for step, it will make you more confident that once that happens, your natural instincts are going to kick in, and you're going to be able to do it. If you have the supplies you need and you're prepared, and just having these books like this that walk you through. Literally, there are illustrations in here, there are drawings in here. It shows you everything in detail. It's not in color, but it definitely shows you how to set bones and how to do lots of things. And this was a little bit more expensive book because it is actually a emergency war surgery book, Department of the Army. So it is really, really good. I can't remember how expensive it was, but if you can afford it, and if you're just going to make sure you can do all you can do to make sure that you can take care of your family in case something comes up, this is a good one to have on hand as well. I have lots of them, y'all, so I tried to pick out the ones that I thought would be the most beneficial, the most helpful, the most useful. There's no way I could share everything or everything that I know how to do or have trained to do or whatever. Suture like a surgeon. Alright, I'm not sure if my camera stopped or where I stopped at, but this other medical book is about suture. I don't like saying that word, I just say stitches. Like a surgeon, it shows you how to do stitches, how to practice doing knots, different ways to stitch for different types of cuts and injuries. This is a newer book, a medical book. So again, I don't know that, many people will be able to stitch up someone else. Me having a veterinarian assistant background, I have stitched my own personal animals. So I do believe if it was in that kind of dire situation with no other resources available and no one else was coming to help, that I most definitely, would be able to stitch someone up. You may not be able to do that, but it is important to have all the equipment, all the supplies that you need ahead of time. Like I said, this is really advanced. And if you were in a certain situation, maybe you would do it too. I don't know. You just have to plan ahead and have the right mindset and the right supplies and go from there. I can't tell you, this is not a dictator type of video where I tell you what you need to do, how to do it, or what's going to work for you, because what works for you might not work for someone else. It's just to give you a guideline. Maybe even some seasoned preppers is just like, oh, I've heard that a million times, but maybe there's some nuggets in there that might help you too that you might have forgot or didn't think about. So I think next week I'm going to go over the my first aid list and equipment, stuff that I have, stuff that I use here on the homestead. Just having a basic first aid kit is great, but maybe long term or during uncertain times, it's better, in my opinion, to kind of be prepared for multiple different things. And I'll go over that and share that with y'all next week. So it just, there's no perfect blueprint. There's nothing to do like where you can just say, I have all the answers, I have the plan, I know what to do. Because there are things that come up that there's no way we can think of. And the only thing with being prepared is it's going to help you to be able to handle those situations better. And that's always been kind of my thing, was, being prepared helps to alleviate drama and stress and people just freaking out, not knowing what to do, and it makes everybody else in your circle uncomfortable when someone else is losing it. Is to stay calm so people can think and have a plan put in place, and not just one person know where everything is. Write it down in a notebook so that if you're not there, or if whoever the main person is falls ill, then someone else can grab the notebook and keep things running smooth, and they'll have an idea of what's going on. They may see what's going on, but they may not know what medications this person needs or what allergies this person needs. And it's just going to prevent a lot of stress later. There's going to be enough stress whenever it's really crazy and uncertain times. So thanks for joining me today. If you have any more questions or want to add some more tips or different things that you do, or share, something that maybe you do that you think would be helpful to someone else and their family, please feel free to share them in the comments. And I will be back next week to share all of the first aid stuff that I have that I think is important, that I think is helpful. And I hope each and every one of you have a really good day. Keep preparing, keep looking forward, keep plowing forward, and don't look back. So thanks for joining me today, and farewell, Homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead.